everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of Interview with Scientist. Today we have Dr. Matteo Tardelli from 𝐬𝐢𝐭𝐡 Medicine, where he is doing a postdoc and is based in New York. He is the author of 18 plus scientific articles which have been published in different journals and reputed journals as well. But now he has decided to explore different pathways away from tenure track and and he learned a lot about this from career experts and career coaches. And he recently penned down a book known as the Salmon Leap for Ph.D.s, which is really doing nice, and I think he will tell us more about the book and his career. So thank you, Matthew, for joining us today.
Oh, great. Thanks so much for the nice introduction. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So can you tell us about your career until now? How has it been? How did you start?
Absolutely. So I started my career back in Vienna in Europe. So I did a PhD there in a collaboration, public-private collaboration with a local biotech, and we were doing research most likely towards type 2 diabetes and obesity and this kind of stuff. So I must say before that, I moved to London because I'm originally from Italy, and I worked there in a private pharmacy, but since I wanted a little bit more education and stuff, I was looking for a PhD in Europe, and I found one, and it was really nice time. I learned a lot of stuff. It was really cool, like also to get to, see how science works really in the everyday life. And after that, I then decided to start my first postdoc, and there was still at the Medical University of Vienna in Austria, but in another lab. And this lab was more focused on liver research, so a lot of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or cholestatic liver disease, so a lot towards that direction. So whereas before it was more about metabolic diseases, afterwards was still a lot of metabolic diseases, but geared towards liver disease.
Yes.
And after that, I was like, a couple of years of postdoc, and I was like, everyone really, moves to the US for a few years if you want to, learn a little bit more. And that's what actually every PI also back in Europe does, right? Yes. So, you get a short or long exposure to the, the way they do research here in the US, and then they move back towards their countries, and then they start as PI. So I wanted to get this experience as well. So that's why already 2 years ago in 2019, I moved to New York City to 𝐬𝐢𝐭𝐡 Medicine and started my second postdoc here. And this is, again, a lot of metabolic diseases, such as, as we said, obesity and type 2 diabetes and this kind of stuff. So I must say that when I came here, it was, normally you wouldn't think that you will learn a lot during your second postdoc, perhaps, because you think like, the learning curve happens during your PhD, right?
Yes.
And I think that was not the case for me. And I think there was, especially the second postdoc was really great. And I'm still learning kind of a lot. So that's, challenging, and it's nice. And I think overall, the experience in New York City really opened my eyes a little bit more towards other career paths.
Yeah.
And that's why I also started doing some volunteering and some freelance work for Pre-Scouter as a scientific consultant there. And I started that really literally when I came here. So it's been also 2 years, and it's been going well. I mean, it's really interesting to really tap on other careers as academia and stuff, because normally you don't get a lot of exposure. You're just in your own lab with your own colleagues, so it's nice to get out a little bit. So that's where I am right now. So that's the current position.
So I think we have very common career paths, because I also did my PhD from Germany in Europe and moved to Canada for doing postdocs, and I just completed my second postdoc, and I'm done with it.
I bet.
So, why did you decide to move away from academia?
So basically, well, I kind of understood a tiny bit. That has been a realization that came already before my second postdoc, perhaps, that I really wanted to understand and explore something outside academia at
Yeah.
some point. So I was looking into that, and also especially during COVID, but also before then, I was attending a lot of career, kind of meetings and things. I was talking
Yeah.
to a lot of career coaches, and also doing some actually informational interviews, because
Okay.
I really wanted to understand deeply what I wanted to do next, and
Yeah.
really get really prepared for that. And
Yeah.
once I really realized that, I was taking a lot of notes on the side and stuff, and I really realized I had a lot of content, and I was like, wow, well, that's this is amazing. I mean, I should really share it with other peers and other PhDs, because it's really like it takes a lot of efforts to understand what you
Yes.
want to do next, I think,
Yes.
especially if sometimes you don't have a lot of mentorship or guidance
Yeah.
towards this transition, so to say.
Yes.
So that's why I decided. I said, okay, yeah, let's put this nice content together in a book, and let's make it a little bit actionable, really, to the point, for
Yes.
people to use it as a tool for them prepare for the transition. So that came together nicely, I think, in my book, The Salmon Leap for PhDs.
Yes.
And I think there was a nice journey overall, like all the publishing process also with Amazon and things. So that was great. That was really interesting. And yeah, that's where I am right now. So I'm taking care of my transition. So I'm looking into that. I pretty much know now what I want to do.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know it before, so I think as we also discussed previously, it was like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of titles and job descriptions out there, and
Yes.
it's very complicated for scientists like us to understand what you want to do. I mean, do I want to do like a bench-based job still, or a non-bench, like consulting on venture capital, these kind of things. So
Yes.
I think first of all, for me, the first step was really trying to understand, get this right, and trying to
Right.
understand the titles a little bit better, and trying to understand what I wanted to do next.
Okay. And so, can you tell us what are the different career options apart from being a bench scientist or a PI?
Well, there's a lot. There's very much a lot, and I think also that's what I've learned with Pre-Scouter, just by doing some consultancy for healthcare and sciences. So there's a lot out there. That's
Yep.
a lot of consultancy and companies, such
Yes.
as, I don't know, Boston Consulting Group, or Pre-Scouter in this case as well. They're all looking for PhDs, actually, because also, like, if you think about venture capital, all this kind of stuff. So you have these venture funds where clients of these firms just wanna know if this biotech, for instance, is Moderna, is a nice investment for them, and
Yes.
you will be there bridging in between the part of which is purely financial, that probably you don't have a lot of experience within, but you were trying to understand the biology behind their probably their pipeline, and try to convey this to the client, and so to get them to understand whether that's a good investment or not. So
Okay.
these are two examples, for instance. They're completely not non-bench based,
Yes.
and but other stuff could also be like scientific writing, scientific
Yes.
communication. That's what you do as well, right?
Yes.
So, and that's really great as well. It's nice to, as PhDs, we really have these kind of ability to understand very complex kind of situation papers, and biological kind of and things to the molecular level. And
Yes.
I think what's really challenging for us, and that's what I'm also learning as a skill, is that trying to translate this complexity to something that's a little bit more understandable for the public. And I think, for instance, that's what science communication is about, right?
Yes.
So scientific writing, journalism, and stuff like that. So, already, like, just by brainstorming with you, like, we have already three great examples that,
Yeah.
they really, branch out from the tenure track or the professorship. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that was really helpful. And my next question is for people who are shy of networking or who are shy of talking to people. Can you tell us the importance of networking and how should an introvert go about it?
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good question. Of course, I mean, during this time, during these COVID times where, we can't really meet in person right now, it's a little bit complicated, but I think I've been attending some networking events also via Zoom.
Yep.
Um, Some are interesting, and I think also for introverts, it's a little bit easier to interface themselves with a screen rather than a person, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good way, I think, right now to start and look into these networking opportunities that are not in real life. I
Yes.
think for introverts especially, I think that would be a really great thing to do. Another advice that I have for the guys listening is trying to use this lunch club.
Okay.
It's an app that you can just go online and Google it. It's called Lunch Club, and then
Okay.
basically they match you. You have a lunch session of 30 minutes
Okay.
with a stranger. There's gonna be in your so to say, like probably a colleague or probably someone, an entrepreneur, like completely outside of your expertise, and
Yes.
you get I think used to the fact of introducing yourself to someone that is not within your field. And
Okay.
I think that was really useful for me to also network with other people outside my academic bubble. So I would definitely recommend Lunch Club, and this is something that you can just according to the schedule do like just once a week or something like that. So you get to know a lot of people. But of course, LinkedIn is one of the best things within that. So I think recently, especially during COVID, I managed to have a lot of informational interviews with people. So basically, what I was doing is that I wanted, for instance, I had a nice chat with a clinical research associate in Switzerland, and in short, CRA. And this I didn't really understand what a clinical research associate was, what
Yes.
the job title whatsoever, and what the daily activities is like.
Yes.
So I basically reached out to this person, and you'll be surprised, but a lot of people are willing to help, and they're willing to talk to you, and it's fine. I mean, you just put together a chat of 30 minutes, and you're trying to understand whether this person is doing a job that is interesting for you.
Yes.
And I think by then I could so to say network on one
Yes.
side, but also for me it was really useful to understand also which kind of positions were attractive or not for me.
Okay.
So I think LinkedIn was really one of the best tools within that, and as I said, you'll be surprised how many people are really willing to help out there. And
Yes.
that's they've been there before you, so they were in academia as well, so they know perfectly how it works, so they're willing to help.
So we just need to go out of our black box and talk to people. That is what would be important right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just get out a little bit of your comfort zone and
Yeah.
try to talk to people, especially if you're really intentional about changing career. I think that's very important to start building a network also outside
Outside
your
of.
lab. Yeah.
Yes. And my last question is, do you have any tips and tricks for people who want to move away from academia or are thinking about it?
Sure. First of all, I mean, there's a lot of material out there.
Yeah.
My book is one of those, but there's a lot of books also and other things and career coaches that can really help you with that.
Yes.
There many of them, they're really like geared towards PhDs, so they know how difficult it is and they know how to deal with it.
Yes.
But as a personal level, I think to start is really good to understand first what values are really important for you, and what you need and what you want from your next job. So I think there's a lot of tools out there to do this, and one of them is this my IDP offered by science careers. So that's kind of a huge one, that's in which you can put in your skills and try to understand which kind of position will be interesting for you. So for instance, you know, if you like to present, or you rather like to write, it will come up, this algorithm will come up with different kind of positions for you.
Okay.
And that's one, I think that's one thing that's I think people need to figure out
Yes.
before even applying.
Yeah.
I know it sounds a little bit weird, but you know, we always been doing, I mean, we all of us you know, have done that in the past. So you just apply for stuff, but sometimes maybe, you know, your profile doesn't really fit with the job, or maybe you don't understand fully the job description. And I
Yes.
think this one is the second step. So try to really understand which kind of positions are really important for you. I mean, if you like project management, I mean,
Yes.
yeah, look into project management jobs, or maybe get a certification for a project management kind of thing. So I think first understanding your values, and then understand also which kind of career path you want to take, as there's really so much out there.
Yeah.
And so other than that, then once you have these under your belt, so you understood this, I think the next step will be, you know, prepare your application material for that. And
Yeah.
of course, on the side, trying to run some informational interviews to understand what's the daily job look like for these people. And after that, of course, I mean, you'll have a little bit of a more like broader understanding of what you want to do, and you'll be able to really laser focus your
Yes.
applications as well. So I think all this work before, I mean, it sounds a little bit exhausting, I know,
Oh,
but I think it pays off on the long run, right? Because it's you focus in your search a little
sorry.
bit better, and then also you can also understand how to really tailor your CVs and application and cover letter around it. So I
Yes.
think that's really great for that. And I think these are steps that I also cover in my book, Writing Details. So I
Okay.
think that's good, actually, a good thing to read as well for people to understand how
Yeah.
to do these step by step.
Yes.
So this is what I would recommend, and then, you know, everything else then comes afterwards. So you have to prepare them for interviews, and then you get to the negotiation step as well. But you know, this comes after. But first of all, I think these two first steps, like focus on yourself and your own values and skills, and try to understand what's missing there, and try really to understand whether yeah, which kind of job path it's really for you.
Yeah.
So this I think these are key. They sound obvious, but you know, it's always nice to remind people to do that.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you have been talking a lot about informational interviews. So if you could define what is an informational interview for those who don't know.
Sure. So informational interviews is just asking people or colleagues or people that are in a job that you wish to get
Yes.
to have a chat, an informal chat.
Yes.
It's of course different. I mean, you're not having a chat with a friend. Of course, you're having a chat with a possible colleague, or just something to network. So in informational interviews is just a way to have a chat, a professional chat with people,
Okay.
and try to understand what's the job looking like. So you just normally would prepare like a few questions in advance to try
Yes.
to understand maybe a little bit about the company, if you're interested in the company they're working in, and also to try to understand whether their job title or position is interesting for you. So that's how I would define informational interviews: just a professional chat between two professionals. Yeah.
Okay. And we have a question from Raisa.
Mhm.
She asked, can you describe the process behind writing your book and the pros and cons of self-publishing versus going the conventional way?
Sure. The process, yeah, is was interesting. So at the beginning, I decided to put together a layout for my chapters. So I
Yeah.
really wanted to get you know, these in a right order. So starting first, as we said, with value assessment stuff, and finishing up with interviews and negotiations. So really like kind of chronological kind of approach by which people would then you know, understand and start their job hunting. And In regards to the self-publishing procedure, well, that was a little bit complicated. I think overall with Amazon, it wasn't too bad. You just had to read and understand their way and their philosophy of publishing. And but apart from that, I think it was kind of straightforward, and it's good because you also have tools to understand and track your performance
Oh,
within the Amazon platforms.
yeah.
So it's good for others to understand that, and it's good also the fact that Amazon doesn't charge at the beginning any fee for publishing. So they charge they charge, of course, royalties and stuff when you start selling products. But at the beginning, especially for an emerging author, is really good. It's really good because you don't need to put a lot of capital towards that in order to publish. So
Okay.
that's, I think, the main difference with the traditional distributions. Yeah.
Thank you very much for answering that. I
No
hope I
worries.
got the answer what she was looking for. So, congratulations once again for publishing your book.
Thank
I
you.
have read really good reviews about it. It's getting 4.8
Thank you.
rating
Yes.
out of 5 on Amazon.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate it, and
Thank
thank you for
you.
all the advice that you provided today.
Thank you. It was a very, very nice chat. I really hope, that helps other people to,
That,
explore these at some point.
yes, that definitely helped.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Have a
day.
nice day.